At the heart of any kind of business relationship between a client and a vendor is a personal relationship between two different human beings. A buyer and a seller have to be able to get along. The internal delivery team and the external delivery team have to be able to mesh. And executives, if they're involved, need to be able to see eye to eye. It's really pretty critical. In fact, I call it the X factor that makes technology vendor relationships really hum. So, what's the basis for this relationship? Well, I think there's really three different criteria to look at. The first one is the vendor competent? Can they deliver the thing that they're saying they can deliver? The second question is, can I trust the vendor? Does the vendor have my best interests at heart? And finally, there's a chemistry factor, there's a communication ability. Does the vendor understand me and do I understand the vendor? And the impact of that factor really shouldn't be understated. There has to be some kind of relationship between the two parties. So usually these kinds of relationships take a little bit of time to cultivate, but I think that there's things you can do in the very first meeting to kind of encourage that development. Most first meetings end up being these kinds of organic conversations that start way up high with vision and mission and values and end up nitty-gritty details with features and integrations and things like that. And I think if you're more disciplined in how you shape those first meetings, you can make sure you're establishing a foundation for a great vendor relationship that can lead to, a great relationship between two different companies. So I'm going to give a couple of ideas. The first one is really set your goalposts well. So I have this business problem. It has this impact on my company. I need a technical solution that solves the problem in this way, with this constraint, this time frame, etc. Like really be very prescriptive in how the problem gets solved, or prescriptive on what a solution looks like. The vendor's responsibility is to fill out that solution, to put something into it. So I think what this does is it sets your definition for success early on and gives the vendor a really clear set of goalposts to aim at. The second thing I'd recommend is going through all the relationship sides. So there's three different criteria listed earlier. Those three are going to be pretty relevant for you as well. So first of all, do we have good communication and good chemistry? Best way to test for this is have the vendor repeat back to you what the business problem is and all of the fine detail. If they're taking notes, if they're paying attention, they'll probably be able to do so, and they'll probably be able to do so in a way that you understand and you know they understand. The second area is competence. Can the vendor actually do what they say that they can do? So, what are your ideas, Mr. Vendor? How have you solved this kind of problem in the past for other clients? Asking these kinds of questions and trying to get a sense of their experience and how relevant they've been is going to give you good confidence that they have that level of competence to solve the problem. And then finally, trust, maybe the most important. I would recommend actually just starting with my deal breakers, saying, listen, if you misstate pricing, if you don't return my email within 4 days, if you exaggerate your experience, whatever it is for you, then we're off, we're done, we're not talking again. Say those things up front so that the vendor understands what you value and what's important to you and how to stay away from the gutter or from the issues, from the electric fence. Maybe some small tests here are kind of a good way to test for trust and for efficacy of the vendor. So you might ask something like, are you having trouble finding employees? Well, everyone is having trouble finding employees. If they say no, or if they kind of give you a hedgy answer, well, that's probably not a great sign. Is your company growing? Oh yeah, we're growing by leaps and bounds. Well, go on LinkedIn, click on the company, and it'll tell you the head count for the company. It'll tell you if they're growing or not, and you can see if they've been exaggerating their experience. You might say, send this to me by 5 p.m. tomorrow. Let's see if they actually do it. Let's see if they actually value the business enough to be able to respond quickly. Now, all of these things can be also formalized into a relationship charter. A relationship charter is a living document that usually sits side by side with the contract. It defines things like these are the roles for the human beings who are involved and for the teams that are involved in delivering the service. It defines how we're going to communicate with one another. It defines any kind of shared objectives that might exist. How are we going to deal with conflict if it should arise? Stuff like that. Relationship charters set the stage for a great relationship and make sure that the vendor and the client are working together to form that relationship as a basis for great delivery. Hope that helps.